All right, we're live. So William Dawes here. This is the first installment of my vision for 2020, which is called 52 Weeks of Why. And the 52 Weeks of Why comes out of Simon Sinek's video, Know Your Why. And I really thought it would be interesting to learn from the people that are in my tribe what their why is. And we're going to go a little bit deeper dive into the why, more than just business, more than personal, and get into some real nuances of the why and how it impacts each person's day-to-day life. First guest on the 52 Weeks of Why is Ben Ratner. Ben's a very good friend, trusted advisor, and fellow entrepreneur. He owns one of the most successful coffee shops that I've had the pleasure of frequenting on my day-to-day visits, as well as witnessing the growth of the shop itself and the culture that he is building within the company. Ben, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be here.
Thank you for having me.
So when we were kind of talking last night about Know Your Why, and I shared Simon Sinek's video, when you came back out of that Know Your Why, and after watching the video, tell me a little bit about what first came to mind, and then how you went deeper. So start at the surface level and then go a little deeper after we talk.
Surface level, I feel like, and as we kind of mentioned, talking to each other a little bit, summarizing together last night, easiest thing to jump to is family reasons for why. And I think the point of the video and the point of looking into finding your why is to go a little bit deeper. A lot of people can just look at those surface area things, which are very important, but they're so important that it's easy to see. And a lot of times you can kind of get wrapped up in I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing this for my family. But really, if you kind of refocus and you got to think about why are you working so hard for those things. And when we were talking, it kind of tipped me off to thinking about other people working hard in my family and the people who have sacrificed for me to get to where I'm at, and thinking about my grandparents and my mom, and then being generationally separated from immigration, but knowing that my not too far removed by my great grandparents were people that came over here and to start a new life. And I feel like those sacrifices kind of need to be honored in a way, so that I'm giving my family support and making sure that I'm leaving them in the best way possible, similar to that my family did for me, I think.
That it takes the why, because for me, when I heard the why of family, I immediately go to kids and wife and legacy. And what's interesting to me is that when you said family, you went backwards in time into honoring your family's history and your family's lineage. And you talk a little bit more about that, because people that don't know you may not know your history, and it's pretty diverse, so it's worth sharing as a part of your why.
Well, I guess it's good timing, because just recently, over the past couple of weeks, my mom has had me do the Ancestry.com and the 23andMe stuff, and so it's interesting to see that my history is Eastern European, 50-some%, come from Jewish background, and my mom 100% Jewish then, and her family originated mostly from Poland and Russia and Eastern Europe. Into Ellis Island, and you can see the records, and grandparents were both born in Brooklyn, and my grandfather went into the Air Force right out of high school, and went into able to get a college education, and was eventually working on projects at Area 51, and worked in the Pentagon, and just really well-rounded individual, into art and photography and comedy. Loves Mel Brooks, and so nice. That's like the here and now sort of stuff that I can carry with me. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff that they have taught and instilled in me that I want to instill in my kids.
Yep.
Things that my grandmother has taught me that she's learned from her father, just doing what's right based on your own feelings about it, rather than other people knowing or getting accolades for something. It's more fulfilling whenever you just do what you do, and you're your own audience for it. I feel like I'm kind of going off from your question a little bit, but that's kind of where
this is the legacy though, right? This is what
yeah,
you have been
yeah,
brought into and is relates to why you do what you do, because you feel a weight on your shoulders to live up to those obligations, right?
and also just to like I said before, the best way to say is to honor the work that other people have put in for me, and then show my kids that too. Make a connection. Not only are they doing that, but then my kids are in my daily life where they see my wife and I and the work that we do, and hopefully we're setting examples for them in their lives, whether or not they choose to do the same thing and help out at the cafe or eventually take on operations here, but just
Yep.
using work ethic, the well-roundedness, and just trying to be inclusive and go about things in a way that you can live with and be happy about, I think.
I mean, I love this. So this is a good segue right into your why for business. And I know you also just worked on that why. So just very
Yeah.
briefly, kind of sum up the why that you arrived at for your employees and for your business operation as well.
So for us, not only the Simon Sinek stuff, but there's a coffee shop called Cat and Cloud Cafe in California that's all about finding the why, developing culture, and not as a means of just doing it for the sake of doing it, but for developmental purposes, where you're developing your staff, yourself as an individual, and then also your business. So for me, finding our why, it took a couple of days of like talking to our employees, talking to my wife, and going back and forth with it. And really, I think we want to build community through coffee in our service here. And it, just as little as people's day-to-day interactions when they first come into the shop, just the nature of coffee, it's something that people start their day with, and some people can't be without. And so we have an opportunity when they come through the doors to be the first bright spot in their morning. And so that's not nothing. I think that's something important for people and our baristas to realize, that just that interaction serves an important role in people's lives, but then also the way that the business itself can touch people's lives through, we sponsor multiple youth soccer and sports leagues. We donate to a lot of charities locally. The business itself and myself likes to get involved in community. We're on, it's a community theater board, downtown business and building owner association. So just developing the community to be a thriving place for ourselves, but also other people. And it's not something that it's like watching paint dry or grass grow. It's not something you see tangible bits and pieces of that change happening in every single day, but you can look back retroactively and say, from A to B, we've changed this community for the better in a lot of ways. I try not to look back at it and say that too much, because you don't want to pat yourself on the back too much. But it is something that finding our why for the shop has made it easier for me to manage our staff and also coach our staff as well.
Yep.
So we have something to refocus on and say, is this action, is this activity in alignment with our goals, with our mission, vision, and values? And then if it is, then that's kind of like your what is that, beacon? I'm missing the word for the thing that's on, like, at the end of the piers.
It's like your North Star, I guess you could say, right?
North Star is a good one. I was thinking the ones that are on the shorelines. What's the lighthouse?
The lighthouse.
Yeah. It kind of like shines the light on something, So that's basically, and it's through help and talking, a lot of conversations with especially you, trying to think about things more. That circles back around to the family aspect too, where recently my grandmother, when we opened the shop here, gave me a big family crest that she's kind of adopted. And the line means it's to think more. And so she just wants me to be critically thinking and going and being present. It's a level of mindfulness, I think. And so carrying that with me throughout the day, I'm able to meld the community, the business, the family, and that's kind of where I feel comfortable and makes me feel happy.
Man, as a member of the community where you have decided to set up home base, I can say that you've successfully done everything that you just spoke about, right? Creating a culture, creating a morning mindset for people, having an impact on everybody that comes in, even for something as simple as a cup of coffee, the way they start their day, right? And
it's always a work in progress too.
Yep. but I think, you know, your story, the why behind your personal reasons, leads very well into the why behind your business. I think like most entrepreneurs, we tread that balance of personal and business. It's very intermeshed with us. And I know that we don't separate them intentionally, because we do put a lot of ourselves and our personal life and our family into our business. And that's something I admire about you. And yeah, I appreciate you sharing the why from a family perspective, like I said, because it changed my point of view, not looking at lineage as much as looking forward, and the why behind your business, that cultural impact. I definitely think you are having. Thanks so much for your time, my friend. I genuinely appreciate it. And we will find time in the future to double back on this and see if you're still doing exactly the same, or if the why has changed as the years continue.